today. You might notice that it looks a little different behind me. Um, I am in the process of trying to set up a really cute, cozy space in my guest room where I can just come and sit and record when the feeling strikes me. I think it'll make it a lot easier for me to make more videos, talk to you guys more if I don't have to set everything up every time that I want to talk about a topic or have a conversation. And so I got this little don't quit sign because I think it's a really good reminder for all of us. I posted a poll yesterday, the day before, and I asked who's who's on my channel, and I had four options. One was believer, one was not a believer but nobody knows, and one was out and proud non-believer. Okay, sorry, that's three options. That's three options. Um, anyway, so the majority of people are it came in at 55%, no longer believe but nobody knows, and 14% firm believer, and then the rest were out and proud. So the majority of over half of the people who are watching don't believe anymore and nobody knows. And I have been in that place where I didn't believe anymore and nobody knew. And I know how isolating and how hard and frustrating it can be to be in that space. And it makes me feel so good that I get to be something that I wish I would have had at that time. I wish I would have known somebody, just one other person who was feeling the same way as I did. And I'm really grateful that we have these online spaces now where we can connect, even if we're spread out, even if we never meet each other in person, but we can be there for each other and support each other. Um, yeah, I just think that's absolutely wonderful. So I wanted to jump on here today. It's just going to be a short little video. Um, I went to my first Atheists, Agnostics, and Secular Humanists meetup. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of building a new community once you've walked away from something, whether or not anybody knows it. At least mentally, you're no longer a believer. This is not going to give you the same comfort that it used to. And there's a saying that is so true, which is the universe hates a void. And I genuinely believe that that's such a true saying. When if you think of yourself like a puzzle, right? And then you think of religion as like a few puzzle pieces locked together. If you remove those, like you just pop those pieces out of your puzzle and you don't fill it with something good, then you're going to have this kind of like gaping hole in your puzzle. And what you're at more of a risk of, at more you're more vulnerable to having that hole be filled with something that is not good for you, that's not going to serve you, that's not going to help you. And I've definitely um I'm definitely saying that from experience. This is my experience. I did not fill the hole that Islam left with anything for a long time, and it did leave me vulnerable. And eventually I will tell you guys some stories, you know, just I'll tell you the stories so that hopefully you don't make the same mistakes I do, but I'm not prepared to do that right now. This needs to just be a short video. So let me try and stay on topic here and not be like neurodivergent brain jumping all over the place. Okay, so I was watching a YouTube channel that I really love. It's an atheist YouTube channel, and so the guy was talking about how he had gone to try and stop these like evangelical fundamentalist Christians from putting the Ten Commandments in public schools in Texas. And they kept him waiting at this courthouse for like 24 hours or whatever. It was horrible, not what happened, but at the end of the video, he was talking about how all the other people that he was there with who were like opposing this were were people that he had met from like the local atheist meetup group. And I was like, wow, local atheist meetup group. And then he actually like listed off the website and he's like, yeah, it's, such and such a website, like you should go check it out. And so I was like, oh, okay, I wonder if there's like a local one where I am. So I jumped on there and sure enough, I found it and I joined it on Meetup. They approved me. And then the next event was a game night. It was actually super close to where I live, so I didn't have to go that far. Um, and it was in like 3 days, and I was like, okay. I just signed up, and I ended up, I ended up being like the second person there because I'm always like right on time. I'm never late. I'm always like a little bit earlier, right on time. So I was like the second person there. I walked in. I was feeling really nervous. I just introduced myself to the other person who had already arrived, and then as more people started arriving, I was immediately struck by the fact that I usually have like really high levels of social anxiety. And my social anxiety is not because I'm actually like an introvert or like an anxious person. It's because I live in a neurotypical world and I'm neurodivergent. And so when I'm around neurodivergent people, I'm an extrovert and I feel fine. But when I'm around neurotypical people, I get this anxiety from years and years and years of being like misunderstood and picked on for my differences. And so I was noticing right away that I was feeling really comfortable. I wasn't feeling anxious. Like I was, being able to be like myself, like very outgoing and like just cracking jokes and laughing. And it was such a nice feeling. And then somebody else mentioned that it was a very neurospicy group. And I was like, I didn't even think. I was like, oh, me too. And then we started talking about that, and I realized like, oh wow, like a lot of these people are neurodivergent as well. No wonder I'm getting along with them so well. And it was such a mix of people, but they were so lovely, and I just felt connected to all of them right away. I felt like I belonged. I felt like just I was so glad that I had taken the chance and that I had done that. And I ended up going to another event with them the very next day, which for me, I don't usually have the social battery to do like two things in one day. So that actually says quite a lot. Yeah, so it was nice to be able to just get some camaraderie and, be around people who kind of like understand. Once you really start deconstructing religion, it is, well, for me at least, it's been harder and harder to be around people who are just like cultural whatever, either like, oh, I'm a cultural Muslim or I'm a cultural Christian or whatever, because I feel like it's intellectual laziness. I feel like if you really believed in this, you wouldn't just be cultural. If you believed in it, you would follow it. And if you don't believe in it, then you're just being lazy to not deconstruct it and find out whether or not you believe in it. And you're staying within this harmful system that we or I have personally given up so much and lost so much in order to fight. And I understand people who, are not in a safe position, or, they don't want to lose their families. I understand all of that. I really, really do. But I'm talking more about people who, who wouldn't have the consequences be that high, and they just don't really care to like think deeply. I don't know. I'm more attracted to like, I don't mean attracted like attracted, but I mean just like I'm more drawn to people who are, wanting to think. I've always been like that. I want to think. I want to think deeply. I want to analyze. I want to, look for the patterns. I want to figure things out. I've always been like that. And it's, that once I applied that kind of lens to religion, it's gotten harder and harder for me to bond and connect with people who don't have kind of like any interest on messing with the status quo, let's say. And so it was just really nice. And I'm not saying I'm not saying I have anything against them or anything. It's just, but if you're interested in a topic and you want to delve into it and talk about it, you want to share that with the people you're around. And if they're not interested, it's kind of like, well, there's only so many times we can talk about, sports or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, so this was just a really great change of pace. I am meeting up with them again on this weekend. And I'm pretty excited about it. And one thing I will say is, even if you are no longer a believer and nobody knows, you still know. You still know. And so you might not be getting the same level of camaraderie that you used to get when you were a believer, because you know that there's a difference now between you and these people. They don't know it, but you know it. And so if you can find somewhere else to get that kind of like kinship and connection, whether that's some kind of a group, a poetry group, or a sports team, or a book club, or an atheist group, wherever it is, I highly recommend. My advice is to really make that a priority and make that happen. Find something you're interested in, go and put the work in, put the effort in, and make those connections, because you don't want to have the only people in your life be people that you can't be fully yourself around. And, like, I still have believers in my life. They have no idea I'm not a Muslim anymore. I mean, of course, they think I'm a bad Muslim, but they don't know I'm not a Muslim at all. Um, but I also have people in my life who do know, and they just don't want to talk about it, or they just don't care about it. So it was really nice for me being able to meet. I'm the only ex Muslim in the group. They are all former other religions. But the vibe is the same. It's like, it doesn't really matter what mythological being you believed in. You believed in a mythology so much so that it affected and controlled your life, and now you don't. It's the same vibe. But anyway, yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because something I really wish I would have done a long time ago, and it was such a good vibe. It was such a good feeling. I'm so glad that I did it. And I'm going to tag in the video description the channel where I actually heard about the website, because it's not coming to my mind right now, but it's a really great channel. And I also highly recommend you check that channel out. Yeah, so I hope you like my new, like, little setup here. I'm going to keep working on it. So hopefully it'll just keep getting better as time goes on. And